Very much looking forward to this installment, as I always am. I have enjoyed the United Nations tournament and what I have actually been honoured enough to be involved in so far. One more person that we're waiting on, and we shall be going live, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to this United Nations installment, where we are going to be experiencing Europe versus South America. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a good time. I know I'm going to have a good time. Hunter is pre-spawned already behind the little crashed vehicles there. That is a part that the survivors can't get to. Boomer is popped on the bus, though. Hunter and Smoker both moving in. Smoker is going to be allowing the Hunter to land in the spit for a brief period. Smoker can't really do much to follow. However, that is some Hunter Spitter damage to consider. Survivors making their way over this little trick jump here. They have chosen to go what looks like 3 Uzis and 1 shotgun, so they are favouring the Uzis, which, to be honest, on higher ping, it's probably the wisest choice to favour shotguns over Uzis. Excuse me, the other way around. Uzis over shotguns. Excuse me. Jockey, Hunter, and a Charger is the tri-cap that the Special Infected have, and the final spawn to complete that is a Boomer. 2 survivors now on the Humvee as they all get over to the Humvee. There is ammunition replenishment. Tank is now going to spawn for the South Americans. Hunter is pouncing around. Not enough distraction for the Boomer, though. The Boomer does get popped at the lorry. Charger is moving in from behind the bush with the Hunter. Charger moves in, focus fired into oblivion. 6 damage pounds on the road from the Hunter. Tank is just looking to close his distance between himself and the survivors. However, the survivors are playing very, very aggressively here, especially with their positioning. They have chosen, especially with Ellis, to go on the truck there. They have chosen now to move backwards. Tank is just throwing some rocks from the distance. Nothing just yet has happened. There is a Smoker, Jockey, and a Boomer in the hands of the 3 Special Infected. Tank still keeping his distance. He's hoping to maintain some line of sight here, and so far he's not done the worst job, actually. He is on 80% rage. So in terms of line of sight, he has actually managed to maintain a fair bit. Rocks so far have been unsuccessful. 70% rage, though. He is maintaining rage very well, so if he wants to play long, he probably can, though the rage is now declining. All the way down to 40% here, and still declining. Jockey is going to meet his demise as well. Smoker is going to move in, perhaps for some distraction from the Boomer, for the Boomer. However, he is a bit too far away to make anything happen. He will be popped, and the Tank Rock will be skeeted. Tank is now on pass number 2 as well, so his options are limiting. They are gradually limiting here. 65% as well. Yeah, he has lost a fair bit of rage here on pass number 2. 45%. He has a Hunter, Jockey, and a Charger to support him, which he is choosing to move in with no real option. Honestly, that is his only option here. Tank is looking for his first punch, but he hasn't quite found it. Rochelle temporarily gets caught there, actually. She just barely dodges the punch, though. Tank has not landed anything just yet. Support needs to move in. Charger is unsuccessful. 10 damage pounds from the Hunter. Will be cleared very quickly. Some punches to follow from the Tank. Separation Jockey as well, but the Tank punches Ellis straight into Coach. And Nick actually just barely dodges that car as well. So some clutch gameplay, but I mean, overall, a very good result for the WS side of things. They are going to be quite happy and content with that result. Who's him? Question mark. Stage. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Missed the stage. We have a Hunter pre-spawned on the bridge here, as well as the Smoker. Hunter from behind. He's going to combine with the Spitter, actually, with a triple boom, and the Smoker is going to be looking to get some consolation damage, I presume. He is moving in. Yep, he does go for Ellis as well. That is the right target to go for. That's decent damage overall, and they are quite surrounded by Common Infected as well. So when you think about it, the survivors, they have taken a lot of damage, but the thing is that they have killed the tank, so it is entirely dependent on special infected attacks from here on out. Hunter, Jockey, and a Charger is the tri-cap, and they do have a Boomer, of which is positioned below the survivors. Moves in, gets a boom onto Coach on one survivor. Whether or not the special infected attack here, though, is questionable, because it is a fairly open area. They are instead going to wait for the sacked Boomer to get his final spawn, of which is going to be in 3 seconds from now. And it is replaced with a Spitter, which, to be honest, for this kind of like hallway-based choke point, it is a narrow passageway, so they can make something happen here. Charger moves in first before everybody else, though he does make the connection, but is cleared mid-charge. Jockey does land very nicely, actually, and the very good interception from the Hunter as well. That did allow the Jockey to get some significant damage there, so that was a well-synchronized attack. Unfortunately, though, the Spitter did actually accidentally spit on the ground instead of above. Thus far, we only have a Smoker in the hands of the South American Special Infected, followed by a Boomer and a Charger. Final spawn coming up just now, which is going to be a Hunter, so they do have a tri-cap. Nick is last to drop down. He was a little bit late there, but the Smoker, unfortunately, was even later than him. That Hunter is warping all over the place. That is a Smoker trying to get a smoke from above. He can't quite do so, though. Boomer is shut down as well. Smoker from the tree, Charger second, is moving in. However, they are very well positioned, the survivors, and they deal with that Charger with very good ease. Survivors continuing to progress forward. They have maybe 2 to 3 more attacks to deal with here as well, because the safe room isn't too far away. Survivors now on 84% of the map. Boomer and a Spitter, so that guarantees the other two to be cappers. That is going to be a Jockey and a Hunter. So Jockey, Hunter with the Boomer and Spitter. For this hill choke point. Boomer first. He does get caught, though. He unfortunately can't make anything happen. Spitter and Hunter both move in. Hunter is going to land, followed by the Spitter for a brief period, but it isn't really too much to worry about. Survivors in a pretty reasonable position here as they continue to move forward. The safe room is right in front of them as well. They are currently at 98% of the map, and they will be moving into the safe room here very successfully. And they are going to be putting themselves at 928 points at the end of this half. So all in all, it was a very good performance by the survivors who didn't even suffer as much as a single incapacitation. Everybody made it to the safe room with at least some permanent HP. However, we are now swapping onto the second half of Dark Carnival Chapter 1, in which we're going to see what the South American survivor side can bring to the table. They showed some pretty good synchronization, but to be honest with you, that tank fight is much easier said than done. Let's be honest, that is a difficult tank fight to pull off against any sort of a competent survivor side.
You're all right. Nice job, man.
And we shall be going live here. In the second half of the first chapter, Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and a Smoker, same as before, as always. Hunter is behind the bus, behind the survivors. Going to be looking to wall kick. He does get a 1 damage bounce, followed by Spit. He's just about cleared there. And the Smoker's going to go after him as well. And that is going to be a Spit Hunter damage, being the predominant source of damage in that attack. Survivors at 13% of the map, which is going to continue to climb here. Only Ellis taken any sort of damage so far. Jockey, Charger, and a Hunter is the tri-cap with the Boomer. Now, will they attack here, or will they attack a little bit later? The tank is not too far away. Unfortunate for the Boomer, though. He tries the bunny hops, and to be honest, he probably could have gotten that, but the survivors reacted very, very swiftly there. Tank is now going to be spawning. Charger, Hunter, and Jockey all moving in. Jockey, Charger is going to be getting rid of his life there. That is going to be Hunter landing temporarily. Jockey is shut down as well. The person who had the Charger was becoming the tank, hence the disappearance of the Charger. Rocks being thrown from behind the crashed buses and trucks there. Hasn't taken too much chip and is on 100% of pass number 1, which is now just starting to decline. Survivors repositioning to the same place as their predecessors. Rocks so far are unsuccessful, but let's just see how they can play this with this Charger, Smoker, and Jockey as the support. Smoker spawns up first, going to be looking to distract the survivors. He actually nearly does so, and the Boomer is going to land onto one survivor as a result. Charger is moving in last to conceal the deal. That is going to be a rock landing onto Ellis, though he was boomed. He couldn't really have seen that coming. The other survivors perhaps could have seen that coming, really, but nonetheless, that is going to be a rock onto Ellis. That is the replenishment of the tank's rage as well. Taken just about 151 exactly in terms of chip damage the tank has taken. Jockey and Hunter will be the distraction for the Boomer. So they have another Boomer. Let's see if they can pull it off this time. Hunter moves in first, 3 damage pounce. Rock is travelling in, can't quite land. The Boomer does land though. And the tank is continuing to throw some rocks. However, the survivors are pretty far back. So none of the rocks have been successful. The South American side are still in a reasonable position here. They just need to be careful of this car, which the tank is now going for. This isn't actually in vanilla as well. This is specifically added as a configuration. In vanilla Left 4 Dead 2, there is no car. There's no hittable car here, which honestly makes no sense, to be honest, because there's so many cars here and none of them are hittable. Smoker moving in, looking to set something up for the tank. Tank is not having the best of luck with the car so far, and well, the car is still in play. Could get a good hit here. Unfortunately, goes straight over the head of the survivors, though. Charger moves in, is unsuccessful. Punch onto Ellis is successful. Hunter lands as well as the Charger scratch onto Nick. And the car is going to successfully in-cap Ellis as well. Now, the thing is the tank is on very good HP. He is actually on 4,185 HP specifically. That is a good number to be on. They are going to be reviving Ellis here. They need to cover with at least one person with that shotgun to cover for the rocks. Boomer is going to spawn behind that car, actually, very smartly positioned. That's going to be Jockey landing onto Ellis, which denies him from taking his pain pills. The car is unfortunately out of play, though. The car has to just be ignored now. Nick taking his first punch, followed by second, followed by even third, actually. He can't get over the railing. Smoker is in the bushes, tries to smoke, but can't quite get it. Is going to be smoking Coach there. The rock does not land onto him. Tank is just about going to be dying here, so they do a good job to kill the tank, considering the stressful circumstance. Charger is unsuccessful, other than one scratch. There is a spitter to try to delay, however, they're not going to choose to delay anything. So that is all she wrote for the tank, but it is a better result. Let's just see how the survivors continue this map, though. They do need to maintain Rochelle and Coach's permanent HP if they want a chance of... not so much... Well, I mean, they have no chance mathematically of leveling or getting past 928, but they do at least have a chance of closing it as much as possible with their current 2 permanent health guys. Hunter moving in with the Jockey. Jockey is dead stopped. Hunter is killed pretty quickly, as is the Boomer. Spitter can't really make much happen here, so that's going to be the end of her life as well. Ellis is past the set of pain pills, and he's not looking to take them just yet. Survivors now have this bridge choke points to traverse, which they probably can actually do before the infected can set up for their attack. Jockey, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger. It is a quad cap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how they pull this off. Jockey is spawned up, Hunter is spawned up, everybody moving in. However, already it's not looking too good for them. Hunter is cleared. Jockey and Smoker land simultaneously. That is good synchronization. However, not much more can happen. They can't quite land the quad cap here. Unfortunately for them as well, they have one set of pain pills, and technically 2 survivors currently need them to speed up their movement speed. As we see Nick and Rochelle taking the aggressive stance, they are going further forward because they can afford to because of their movement speed. Boomer is below the survivors. There is a spitter as well. It is a 2-2 with the Charger. Charger moves in, lands the connection, followed by the spit. That is probably going to be an in-cap, actually. Yeah, it is indeed going to be an in-cap with the help of the Boomer who climbs up the ladder. That's more temporary, a permanent HP gone. More temporary HP inflicted onto them. And that one set of pain pills still hasn't been consumed by Ellis, which is interesting. They have chosen to pause the game here, so we have a little bit of downtime. I wonder if it's anything to do with Zeus, because he does look like he's getting some ping spikes here. I did see a very warpy Hunter as well the last round, so... Jockey, Smoker, Charger, and a Hunter. Another quad cap. However, they do send it in very quickly. That's an in cap onto Ellis. Smoker is unsuccessful. That's the Hunter going to be landing onto Rochelle. Smoker tries, but he can't quite get the smoke. They do end up triggering the alarm car on accident, though, trying to kill the Smoker. They still have that set of pain pills as well, which they have chosen to take, of course. Yeah, now, because Ellis is black and white, of course, he can't really afford to risk that, so it's a good decision that he has chosen to take them. Boomer, Spitter, Charger, and while Charger is moving in straight away, he actually misses the charge as a result of the in-cap there. Charger moving in but can't quite make anything happen. Jockey is below, looking to delay the get-up. He gets dead stopped off though. He's very low. He's still moving in for Nick. He does eventually meet his demise. Coach is the one boomed and the one in-capped as well, so he is a little bit of a task to revive right now. They have just managed to do so. Hunter, Smoker, and a Boomer is what the Special Infected have so far. Boomer rockets in, gets a boom onto one survivor. Hunter and Smoker both moving in. Hunter is actually going to land onto Nick, followed by the Smoker, and Spit does go onto him for a brief period. He doesn't get in-capped, though. And, well, Coach and Ellis are actually black and white as well. They have suffered a total of 2 in-caps, and Coach is behind as well. So they need to make sure that they are aware of where Coach is right now. We have a Jockey, Hunter, and a Charger, followed by a Boomer. Survivors are replenishing their ammunition as we speak. Hunter has been found out, so they are chasing him, trying to chip him. They do so, but not by very much, only about 21, excuse me. Boomer's going to land from the ladder onto 2 survivors. The Special Infected may even attack here, because, I mean, the survivors are bleeding after all. Coach is also 1 scratch away from literally dying, so if he makes it to the safe room, then I will eat my shoelaces, because I really can't see that happening. Nick is dropping down first. He is also 1 HP. They actually end up shooting him as he drops down. That was interesting. It looked a bit funny. They find a set of pain pills. Hunter is pouncing in for a damage bounce. Can't quite get it. However, Hunter's landing. Jockey's landing. Just about. He does get dead stopped and sliced in the face as well. Charger is unfortunately unable to connect the charge to secure the wipe. And he is moving in. He's getting 2 scratches onto Rochelle. She is in-capped. And Nick is the last remaining survivor currently standing. Can the pistols clear the common infected? Well, because of the rock, actually. Yes, they can indeed. Both of these survivors are not actually black and white. They can afford 1 more in-cap, but to be honest, with 2 people, an in-cap is basically a death. Spitter did get rid of that life as well. There is a Hunter and a Jockey, so they have enough for a dual cap at least. Let's see if they send it in. They do indeed. Boomer is nicely popped though by Rochelle. Hunter is looking to get a skybox pounce here. He's travelling in very precariously. He could even land this 25. Unfortunately missing just barely, however, nicely one-shot skeeted by them. The question mark. Very well played. They do get wiped. However, that was a very, very good skeet by Rochelle there. Very well played by the South Americans. Unfortunately, though, they are getting themselves wiped here at 321 points versus the currently ahead 928 points in the hands of WS. So all in all, it is anybody's game at this present moment. I wouldn't really give it to anybody just yet, because this isn't really a significant point margin, if I'm honest. It's around about 600, give or take, so that's definitely doable. That's definitely possible to come back from. But let's just see if they can indeed do that. Everybody now loaded in, so we just wait for the ready up and we shall be looking to go live. It looks like we do have a Boomer Spitter combination, which, to be honest, for this particular choke point, I would say is actually a good result. Just as long as the boomer doesn't get popped, because as I said in last night's broadcast, sending one person out with a shotgun, especially if it's a chrome shotgun, is a pretty good idea because you can kind of catch the boomer off guard. Especially as well, by the way, considering that boomers have a grace period where after they spawn, they actually can't vomit for a full 1 second after they spawn. That grace period can be capitalized on. Coach moves out first. He does exactly what I thought he would. However, Boomer does miss the spawn. Hunter is going to land onto Coach, followed by the Spit, followed by the Boomer, who is going to land onto 3 survivors. A little bit of Spit damage from the Hunter, but not really much else to speak of. The only extra damage that they can take is going to be the Common Infected. And it does look like we need to limit the slots. I really doubt there's anybody here that should be, to be honest. Although it's 11 out of 11, so are they supposed to be here? I don't know. We do have a quad cap, though, in the hands of the South Americans. Let's see if they can pull this off here. Jockey, Charger, Hunter, and a Smoker, which is pretty much the only quad cap you can get. There used to be 2 Hunters, but not anymore. Smoker spawned up, Hunter spawned up. Jockey is probably going to be following shortly after. In moves the Charger with the Smoker. Hunter landing. Charger is not successful, though. That is a tri-cap nonetheless, and a very, very good one. Charger is creating havoc as well, landing several scratches. They have taken very evenly spread damage here. That is a lot of damage overall, especially considering there was no Spitter or Boomer to help with that. A very nicely landed tri-cap by the South Americans as WS continue to move forward. Going to be making it out into the open area here. They have a Boomer and a Spitter now, so they are swapping from a quad cap to a 2-2. Smoker and a Hunter with the Spitter and the Boomer. Smoker from behind can't quite land the pull. Hunter is going to land onto Rochelle. Spit is not quite landing onto anybody. Unfortunately, there is also a boom onto 1 survivor, but that is all she wrote for the Special Infected. Nick is making his way forward here as he is boomed. However, the Common Infected are not really causing too much delay for them. They have a Charger, they have a... Oh, they have a decent attack here. They have a Hunter, Charger, Jockey, and a Spitter. Not the worst setup in the world when it comes to the ladder choke point. This upcoming choke point here. Tank is also pretty soon, to be honest. Hunter is landing outside, and Spitter chooses against going with it. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there. Spitter does also die as well, so they have actually lost 2 of their spawns here. Charger and Jockey. Jockey moves in first, Charger second. Can the Charger get the charge? Oh, he does actually get cleared so efficiently there. Tank is going to be spawning ahead of the survivors on the slide. Survivor's going to drop down very, very quickly there. And the Boomer is popped as well. Nicely popped by WS. They have taken significant damage here, but they are still playing reasonably well. And they're moving quite far back here. They're going to be moving into the open area. Quite a traditional tank fight spot, actually. That is generally where people like to take the tank in this game. On this chapter number 2 of Dark Carnival. Jockey, Hunter, and Charger in the hands of the Special Infected. Tank still on pass number 1, so they have time to attack if they want to. Tank is going to be moving in here. He has a dumpster to work with. It appears only 1, but I mean, it could be enough. Let's just see how well he plays it. Dumpster number 2 as well is moving in shortly after. However, the Infected do choose to attack there. Tank is still on pass number 1. Not much of it, but he is still on pass number 1. Just going to be moving down onto pass number 2 here as he moves through this this little train track area. And we have a Smoker, Jockey, and a Boomer as the supporting setup for the tank here. Tank in the hands of Takador. And in he moves. Going to be looking for that dumpster around about where the ride is. Nice Boomer onto 2 survivors. That's a good result for the South Americans here. and the dumpster is shortly going to be following in. Not too bad so far. That's a good smoker, however, the dumpster's not really in the right position for him. In moves the dumpster, it's in an interesting position. He's not really able to make much happen with it so far. Survivors positioned very well as well. They're making good use of their surroundings. Not looking good for the tank here, I have to say. He is backed by the dumpster though, which is now continuing to move in. But they have so much to use here. Tank going to be looking for this dumpster onto Coach. He misses the punch on it though. Charger is going to get the stumble. No, oh dear. The Hunter has landed. Can he make the dumpster happen? Unfortunately, he can't though. He can't actually even get the in cap by punches as well, because he does actually lose his life there. That's so unfortunate. It was looking like he could have made something happen there, but unfortunately the dumpster just wasn't really playing ball, and that is an unfortunate reality of tanks from time to time, you know. Sometimes the hittables don't do what you want them to do, and it is quite frustrating. Spitter is going to be spitting on the ladder and delaying the survivors, however has no spit. Jockey, Smoker, Boomer, and a Spitter is what they have. Boomer spawns up first. Boomer onto 2 survivors. Rochelle is very separated, actually. And Jockey is going to land onto her. Very well cleared, though. Very, very fast clears coming out of the European side here. Coach has taken significant damage. The rest of them, they're on reasonable health. And again, they haven't... I mean, same as Chapter 1, to be honest. They haven't suffered a single in-cap yet. Let's just see how much that does continue for, though, because they do have a crescendo to get through. Hunter, Charger, Jockey, and a Boomer. So they have a Boomer-based tri-cap. Charger from behind, Jockey moving in, as well as the Hunter. Oh my goodness, Jockey is just absolutely obliterated, though. Charger moves in, he charges on the head of somebody, though. That's very unfortunate. He did not mean to do that whatsoever. He accidentally landed on somebody's head and then just charged. Landing on the head of a survivor is not really the best situation unless you're a jockey, because jockeys immediately grab the person they fall onto. So in that case, it's okay. Hunter, Jockey, and Smoker with the Spitter, so they have a tri-cap without the Charger and without the Boomer. Hunter moving in with the Smoker from behind, Jockey from in front. Hunter lands first, and Spit is going to go on to Coach there and eliminate some of his health, as Smoker from behind can't quite make much happen. And that is going to be all 4 Special Infected killed. And Frey quite rightly calling out to move forward as fast as they can. Safe room is very, very close as well. You know, they're 98% of the map, and this Infected are going to have to attack very quickly here if they want one more attack. Charger moving in first, and unfortunately the Boomer stumbles the Charger there. Jockey moves in, lands onto Mick, in moves the Hunter, lands onto Rochelle for a brief period. So they have done a fair bit of damage, but I mean, no in-caps means that their health bonus is still going to be pretty significant. 79 multiplied by 4 is still a pretty good result for the survivors here, as they extend their lead all the way up to 1,744 points. Now it is time to reverse the roles, and it is time for the South Americans to move on to the survivor side for chapter number 2 of this United Nations installment. Setup is going to be the same as before, and a very quick ready up, which is a caster's dream. They begin by baiting. They actually get a very nice dead stop on the Boomer, followed by a shutdown. Very well played so far. In moves the Jockey. He's baited as well. The survivors are really baiting out these Special Infected. Jockey moves in first. He lands, but is very quickly cleared. Hunter trying the damage pounce. In he moves. However, that's going to be very easily dealt with by the South Americans. Completely obliterated midair. And they are going to continue progressing forward on their journey towards the safe room. Only a Smoker to speak of so far. Will be completed in a total of 4 seconds. So we have a Smoker, Charger, Jockey as the tri-cap with a Boomer to complete. Charger moves in by rocket. Boomer second and gets a Boomer to 3 survivors. Separation Jockey is making stuff happen. Charger is getting several scratches. 3, maybe even 4. Actually just barely can't get 4. Just gets 3 scratches onto Nick there. Well played by the Charger, and that 3-person boom as well is enough to delay them a little bit. 6 seconds remaining for the Special Infector to get their attack. Going to be a Smoker Hunter with a Boomer and a Spitter, so it's a 2-2 here for the Europeans. We do have the Smoker positions to the left of the Survivors, now looking to reposition behind the fence, behind the Survivors. Smoker moves in with the Hunter. Hunter damage pounce, 16 damage pounce, followed by Spit onto Nick there. That's going to be tremendous damage. And a Spit stumble as well by the Boomer. That is absolutely devastating. Plus the Death Spit as well. Wow, Nick was not treated very well there, I have to say. The Infected do not like Nick. That is a Hunt-Spit combination, a damage pounce, followed by Spit, followed by stumble in the Spit by the Boomer. That is ruthless. Hunter, Jockey, Charge, and a Boomer, so they have a tri-cap with the Boomer. Continuing to make their way forward, they have maybe 1 or 2 more attacks to contend with before they trigger the tank, which I presume they're going to do the same thing and run backwards.
You can keep the cobbler. All I want is more guns.
Survivors making their way through the alleyway here. Hunter pounces onto Nick, and the Charger lands onto Rochelle. The Boomer is unfortunately not able to land a boom. Will be dead stopped and shut down with no Boomer. That is actually a good result, to be honest. It's good that they shut down the Boomer there. That Boomer could have created some chaos in that attack, so well played to the South Americans for shutting down the Boomer. They are looking to trigger this tank as well. If they are aggressive enough, they could trigger it in time. However, spawns are now coming up for the Europeans. Smoker from behind onto Nick. Spitter is also up, and really a Spitter is not what they wanted. Tank is looking to go straight in, I imagine. Coach is actually very far behind. Tank is dropping in straight away on the Survivors, landing a punch onto Nick and a punch onto Rochelle. He is continuing to wreak havoc onto the Survivors. Smoker is shut down by Coach, but he is so far separated from his team here. There is only a Charger up to support the tank. Double punch landed by the tank, though. Frey's tank. The man from Czech Republic is proving himself to be lethal. Hunter moving in for Coach. Does actually land on Coach as well. He is most likely dead here, ladies and gentlemen. He is so separated. However, the tank does die. And honestly, that is impressive. The fact that they killed that tank with 3 people like that is honestly really impressive. However, they do end up getting themselves boomed onto another Survivor, and Coach, as I say, is unfortunately now perishing. Spit is going to delay the Survivors by spitting onto the high ground there, just above the ladder. Smoker, Hunter, Spitter. Hunter is very chipped, though. He is looking for the respawn, most likely. Actually, no, he's going to be moving in with 66 HP. So they have a Smoker, Jockey, and a Hunter. They do have a tri-cap, which hopefully for them, you know, for their sake, they're going to be wiping the Survivors. But hopefully for the South Americans, let's just hope that they don't get caught by it, because I would like this point margin to be narrowed a little bit. Hunter moves in first, lands the connection as well as the Jockey. However, Smoker is unable to make anything happen, so the tri-cap is unsuccessful. The damage is successful, though, especially with the Jockey on Nick there. And Ellis is smoked on the high ground. Oh, goodness, that is going to be some lethal damage inflicted. He is the health bonus as well. Eventually getting cleared, but they are under some pressure here. They still have enough will to get through, though, and to be honest, they did, I have to say, there is no denying they played very well to kill that tank with 3 Survivors. That was very impressive, and I will not discredit them in any way, shape, or form. That was very good. Hunter and Charger, followed by a Boomer and a Spitter, so it is a 2-2. They can't actually completely obliterate the Survivors unless they do enough damage. Let's see how the Hunter and Charger play this. Hunter is wall kicking in, incapacitates Nick, followed by the charge onto Rochelle, which is going to be an in-cap. Oh no, it's not going to be an in-cap, because the Boomer stumble actually saves Rochelle. Still ends up getting in-cap, though, by the Common Infected. And, well, everybody is boomed here. Nick is surrounded by Common Infected. He is going to be meeting his demise here, ladies and gentlemen. Evelyn, aka Ellis, is the only remaining Survivor who is going to get jockeyed here. The single pistol is not enough to clear that, and that is going to be the Survivors wiped here. So unfortunate. I really had high hopes for them there. But, well, the thing is, though, is that sometimes playing Survivor is very beneficial, because the Europeans actually knew where the tank was going to spawn when they played Infected, which allowed them to kind of time their spawns to allow that tank to jump down. Overall, it's just simply taking advantage of a mechanic in the game. It's just when you're Survivor first, you can then see where the tank spawns for when you play Infected. So you can prepare for it a little bit better. If you play Infected first, although it does tell you the percentage the tank will spawn on, it's always a little bit questionable because it doesn't actually spawn when you are at that percentage. It actually spawns the tank at that percentage. You trigger the tank a little bit before the percentage it's spawning at. So for example, 65%, you probably trigger that around about 55% of the map, give or take. So on and so forth. And we are now on to chapter number 3 of Dark Carnival with 1,744 points in the hands of WS versus 663 points in the hands of LBB, the South Americans. When you think about the math, it is definitely possible for the South Americans to come back from this. And obviously we're going to hope to see that because we do want to see a little bit less of a point deficit here. So mathematically it's possible. It's just, can they do it? And they have shown themselves to be capable. It's just, honestly, it's mostly their tank fights. The South American tank fights haven't been too favorable, let's say. Spitter is actually going to be getting rid of that spawn there in order to sack it for a different spawn. Charger, Jockey, and a Smoker. So they are probably going to get either a Boomer or a Hunter here, basically. It is going to be a Boomer or a Hunter. And it ends up being a Boomer. So they have swapped the Spitter for a Boomer, which is interesting. Boomers can definitely work in this Tunnel of Love. Let's just see if they do pull it off, though. Boomer is popped, though. Speaking of working, that's not really working very well for them. Charger does land onto Nick. Won't be getting any pummels there. But regardless, is going to be getting a little bit of damage. But WS in reasonable health here. We do have the tank spawning at 35%, so that's going to be shortly. To be honest. 21% is what the survivors are currently on, so we are looking at a pretty soon tank fight. Boomer from below gets a boom onto one survivor. Nicely done, actually. I thought it was going to be pops there, but ended up getting the boom regardless. Hunter is spawned up in the room ahead, going to be looking for a wall kick on an unsuspecting survivor, in combination with the Spitter as well, which can work well, so let's see if it does. Tank ends up spawning, though. Unfortunately for them, straight there. That's going to be Charger moving in. Unfortunately for the Charger, he isn't quite able to pin that person in the spit. And to be honest with you, I have to say, and I am going to say it, the South Americans are getting slightly unlucky this game. Especially with the dumpster in the previous round, and well, that unfortunate Charger there. Not to discredit the jumping down. That was a good move to do. But unfortunately, they couldn't quite get the charge spit combination. So a little bit of misfortune. Let's just see how this tank fight goes for them, though. No hittables to use in this tank fight. Boomer is unable to land a boom, but I have to be honest, it's not an easy place to land a boom here. Especially by yourself. I mean, with distraction, it's a little bit easier, but by yourself, it's a task and a half. Tank is just positioned in the room ahead for now, as the survivors are positioned in the Tunnel of Love maintenance room. They have 3 survivors on the railings here and 1 survivor on the low ground. Tank is going to be moving in, jumping from the generator. Is going to be looking for Coach here. Can't quite find him just yet, though. Duking this tank very nicely. Smoker's going to land temporarily. Only 2 be cleared. Rock is going to land, followed by a punch onto Coach. However, they are going to be probably killing this tank pretty soon after this in-cap. Coach is going to be in-capped there. However, that's all she wrote for the tank. A total of 1 in-cap in this tank fight. Unfortunately, really, the special infected were dealt with very efficiently by the survivor side here. Charger, Boomer, and a Spitter, followed by a Smoker. So let's see what they can make happen with this. Boomer moves in first, gets a boom onto 1 survivor. They have a Charger and a Spitter as well. Let's see how these guys can perform. Chosen not to go in just yet though, and plus the survivors haven't chosen to drop down just yet. They don't really want to be dealing with a boomer horde in a choke point as lethal as this. This of course being the most survivor unfriendly map. All survivors do manage to drop down though, which is pretty well played. Charger moves in with the smoker. In he moves, landing onto Nick. Very nice dual cap actually, and the spit is landing onto Nick for a brief period. That's going to be good damage onto him as well. That is a decent dual cap. And that is all she wrote as the survivors continue to move forward. Nick consuming his pain pills there. The survivors are still keeping a hold of 2 sets of pain pills, which is decent to be honest. And they do have a medicine cabinet coming up. I don't know if there are any pills in it though. There is 1 set actually. Yeah, there is indeed 1 set of pain pills in that medicine cabinet. So they technically have 3 sets of pain pills unless they choose not to go for it. Boomer does land on the roof, land from the roof onto 1 survivor. Hunter is looking to pounce around here. He's just looking to cause some distraction. In he moves with the jockey. Hunter landing, as well as the jockey. Possibly he does land onto Ellis and get some damage. However, that is all she wrote. That jockey landing onto stage there.
Reloading.
So Charger is in the hands of the question mark man, which it is indeed a question mark. Let's see what he can pull off here, because Chargers, believe it or not, are actually not easy to land here, because it's the most expected thing in the world. There is always, pretty much always, going to be a Charger here. Boomer lands onto 2 survivors actually, final one by proxy. Smoker has ended up spawning behind the bush in the pretty standard place for a smoker to be. Smoker moves first, gets the hang actually. That's a good result for them. Nick is going to look for the revival here. Charger is having none of that though. He's moving straight in, gets the connection and the double charge as well. Very good Charger, however, no in caps. Still a good result though when a Hunter and a Jockey are both looking to move in. Jockey lands as well as the Hunter. As well as the Jockey, excuse me. Hunter lands onto Nick at the bottom there. Very good clears. I have to say they're under so much pressure, but they're not slowing down their clears for anybody. Smoker from behind is unable to make anything more happen. And, well, that was very stressful for the survivors, but they do manage to eventually traverse past this choke point. Boomer from below onto 1 survivor. That's a good Boomer. We have a Spitter, Smoker, and another Charger, actually. Let's see if they can make this Charger work as well as they did that one. Hunter is probably going to be... Smoker, excuse me, is probably going to look to go first. Doesn't choose to do so, actually. The Smoker is looking for the respawn. Smoker in an interesting position here. I actually quite like that positioning. Gets the pull onto Nick, however, the Uzi focus fire is too much for him. They are going to purposefully incapacitate Nick in order to revive him with more HP. Jockey and a Hunter up for the South Americans, followed by a Boomer. Boomer probably going to go from below, exactly, below the track. Hunter is moving in, nicely skeeted though. Jockey, excuse me, is going to be landing onto Nick on the high ground, however, their clears are just so fast though. They have a Charger and a Boomer, however, in 10 seconds is what they have to wait. Well, they have to wait 10 more seconds before they get their final 2 spawns. Boomer from above can't get the boom actually. It was an interesting decision and it was a good, honestly it was a good position to go from. Just the survivors reacted pretty quickly. So, Spitter, Smoker, and a Charger. Why am I getting these names so wrong? This event is by no means completed, though. By no means completed. They still have this choke point to get through. Smoker is unfortunately missing his tongue, though, and is going to be killed for his efforts there. Hunter, Charger, and a Spitter is what the Special Infected have to work with here. Charger is now spawned up. They're shooting through the sign, making the Charger's life hell there. He has to go in and end up killing himself. That is going to be a Spitter moving in, and well, unfortunately, that was actually an accidental in-cap, like a self-inflicted one. Jockey can't get anybody below though. Survivor's doing so well here. They're going to be incapacitating Coach as well. And, well, Coach is going to be revived as black and white as well. Boomer from below onto 1 survivor. They have two black and white survivors here. Boomer moves in, tries to get a stumble, can't quite do so. Smoker landing onto Rochelle, but the tongue is in plain sight of the survivors. Charger moving in, gets the connection actually onto Nick. Hunter is moving in as well. And, well, he does get completely obliterated by some Uzi headshots there. I mean, it does take about 2 or 3 Uzi bullets, actually, to kill a Hunter with headshots, so more than understandable that he did fall. Spitter looks to delay the survivors, does get the spit, but it can't really get much out of it. Survivors actually somehow making it to the safe room here on one of the most survivor unfriendly maps in the whole of Left 4 Dead 2. So very well played by them. So we now have the reversal of the roles. On chapter number 3, we have the South Americans now moving on to the survivor side, and we have the Europeans moving on to the infected side. South Americans wasting no time here. They're immediately ready, and the Europeans are almost ready as well, so we are going live very quickly. It is going to be a snipe tank, of whom is from the land of Russia. And we are going to be seeing a jockey, charger, smoker, and a spitter for the tank fight. I am the worst person to ask, I'm afraid. I have absolutely no clue about add-ons, really. Survivors making their way down the slope here. Smoker spawning up first, getting the smoke. Charger moving in. Actually does... Well, I mean, it sounded like he got a connection, but there was no get-up animation there, so... Very well played by the South Americans. They have cleared the first attack with relative ease and will continue to move forward. They still have this tunnel of love to traverse, as well as the Swan maintenance room tank fight. One more attack to presumably deal with. Boom onto one survivor. That stumble is going to allow 2 scratches onto Coach there. Hunter moving in. Nicely shut down, though. Hunter is very nicely shut down. Smoker ahead is also shut down, so that's all she wrote for the special infected attack. However, the Boomer has delayed the survivors a fair bit here. Survivors continuing into the maintenance room of love. Jockey and a Boomer spitter, so they do have a 2-2 here with the charger. This is probably going to be their last attack, which they do send in. Boomer is popped so nicely though, and the jockey is reduced down to half HP, so his life is made more difficult as well. However, jockey, charger, and spitter is devastating. Then again, what's more devastating is an M2 on a jockey. So that is the charger very swiftly shut down, as well as the jockey. AI spitter gonna be punched in the face by the tank. Tank in the hands of Snipe, who is going to be playing the Russian tank. Looking to get those curved rocks round the door frame, unable to get any just yet. Smoker, Hunter, and a Boomer in the hands of the special infected. Hunter gets a little bit chipped though. Tank is going to be moving in, jumping over the generators onto the railings here, looking for Nick. Can't quite get him just yet, though. He hasn't found anybody at this present moment. He does find Ellis, and Ellis is actually getting himself a little bit separated here. Double punch as well, landing onto Ellis and Coach. That's going to be 2 in-caps here from the tank. Hunter is moving in, gets shut down mid-air, though, and the Smoker is still remaining, as well as the tank. Tank on 2,500 HP right now. He's going to be looking to move in with the Smoker. Misses a punch, though, unfortunately for him. And he's going to be looking for some curve rocks here. Tank is being pressured. Gets, actually, well, the jockey allowed Nick to get punched there. And Nick takes another punch. He could even go down here. Tank is still on 1,000 HP. Charger moving in for Rochelle. Getting focus fired into oblivion, though. Tank on 687 HP. Gonna move in for Rochelle, does actually get the punch. Can this end up being a wipe here? Unfortunately, it might end up being a wipe. No, it is just barely not a wipe. Nicely done by Rochelle to take those pain pills. Gonna be reviving Nick here, but pressured by the Hunter. Nice headshots though. 47% of the damage inflicted onto the tank by Takador there. That's gonna be a spit onto Nick there, and Rochelle is looking to clear these common infected, but unfortunately, Ellis is gonna be meeting his demise, so already they have lost a survivor here. Scratch is going to be inflicted onto Rochelle. Very relentless special infected pressure here. And a Smoker, Jockey, and Charger all moving in unison. That's going to be Smoker missing the smoke onto Coach about 2 times. Unfortunately, that's the 3rd time there. Charger is looking to get some scratches in here. However, there you have it. Coach is going to be reviving Rochelle here. They do get a nice dead stop on that boomer, followed by the shutdown, but they're not looking in good health at all here. All of them suffered a total of 1 incapacitation each. They're still fast though, at the very least, but in terms of whether or not they're going to survive this, I have to say it's not likely. Not with 3 survivors anyway. And Jockey is going to land actually onto Coach, and that spitter is really denying Rochelle through the doorway there. Survivors now have their grace period to drop down, which they choose to do so. And I mean, being limited to 3 survivors is definitely not favourable on Dark Carnival Chapter 3. I mean, this roller coaster choke point is not particularly forgiving. And when you have 3 survivors, it's even worse. Charger moves in, can't quite get the connection. However, Hunter and Jockey both land in unison. They do get a dual cap, several scratches from the Charger as well. Jockey moves in, gets stumbled by the Boomer though, and will be meeting his demise. Coach is taking a pounding from the common infected. However, they are going to be getting onto him and looking like they're going to be reviving him successfully here. Going to be making their way out into the open area. Spitter is going to be spitting into the path of the survivors, which actually spreads onto the table. That's a little bit fortunate maybe for the Spitter. Hunter is going to land onto Nick and will be cleared shortly after. Charger moves in, but his focus fired very well actually. So despite the fact that they are taking such a beating, they're still showing some good plays here and there, and that's what you want to see. So far, a Boomer remains, and Boomer is most likely going to rocket in here. Yeah, he does indeed do so onto 2 survivors. And they have a Jockey, Spitter, and a Hunter, of which is moving in now. Jockey is going to get dead stopped and possibly shut down. He does end up getting the scratch onto Coach, which will eliminate him though. And also Rochelle is going to find herself eliminated, and that is going to be a significant points deficit for the South Americans here, who are currently sitting on 918 points versus 2,488 points in the hands of WS. So, not a favourable position, I must say. And this is going to be chapter number 4 of Dark Carnival. Beginning, of course, with the Europeans on the Survivor side. Probably about time I open the chat. Actually, let me just go to the stream. So I'm going to be opening the chat pretty soon. So if anybody wants to chat, then you can feel free. All right, there we are. I'm in the chat now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So if you would like to send any messages, then feel free. I can actually read them now. As always as well, hopefully everybody is having a wonderful evening, morning, night, or afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. I mean, I certainly am. Anytime I get to commentate Left 4 Dead 2.
Reloading.
So the final tank in terms of the 4-man rotation is going to be Zeus. That's actually an interesting boom, getting it through the little slit there in the wall. I mean, it's not really going to amount to very much because well, the they are inside the safe room, so it is a favorable place to be honest, when you get boomed. Hunter is moving in with the spitter, looking to land onto Ellis, and that's a very good synchronization, actually. An instant smoke as well from the smoker onto Coach. And that's looking like the end of the attack, but that's honestly some pretty good damage inflicted by the South Americans. Yeah, it is a good point, to be honest. It's probably best that you don't really boom the people in the safe room, because they can just wait in there, to be honest. So it is the best idea to wait until they run out before you send the boomer in the majority of cases. Charger, Jockey, and a Hunter tricap. Boomer moves in, but gets shut down. Charger moves in, but is focus fired into oblivion. That's a very nice dual cap, though. Landing temporarily. That is going to allow the Jockey to do more damage onto Ellis. And the Zeus tank has now spawned. Looking for the dumpsters, however, those are a bit too far away, I would personally say. And with the way that one is positioned, that's not really looking too likely. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, good point, Nofos, actually. I suppose sacking the boomer can sometimes work in your favor if you would rather a tri-cap rather than a 2-2. So that can work. As long as you pull it off properly, that can actually work. That dumpster is traveling interestingly. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up landing onto anybody. The boomer does, however, land onto 2 survivors there. Not a bad result. Tank is a little bit far away, though. Tank is now positioned above the survivors with a very nicely positioned dumpster, actually. Going to be throwing his first rock of his tank fight. Moving in that dumpster, it bounces off the tree, though. He has taken 800 damage, actually, and Ellis just barely dodges that rock. He was close to eating that. In moves the dumpster, just barely missing Coach there. Let's see what he can make happen here. Misses the first punch onto Ellis, followed by the second. Nicely juked by Ellis there. First punch landing, he's right next to the dumpster as well. Unfortunately, the table just is his worst enemy, though. And, well, the best friend of Ellis, let's say. Hunter is spawned up on the rooftop, as well as the Charger on a different rooftop. Tank on 1,700 HP, though, so not looking in the best of shape. That dumpster is going to be moving in onto the survivors, doesn't end up landing onto anybody. In the tank moves onto the rooftop here. Except the other rooftop, just above those benches. They have a Charger, Hunter, and a Jockey to support this tank, who is moving in now. Hunter does actually land quite nicely onto Coach there. Charger is moving in as well for an interception. Can't quite make anything happen, though. Tank is trying to use the bumper cars, but to be honest, he is looking like he's going to die here, and he does indeed do so. Not so much as a single incapacitation awarded, which is so unfortunate for them. Survivors will be running back to the safe room here in order to replenish their ammunition. But yeah, I mean, the tank did miss a few punches there, which is, credit to, was it Ellis? I don't remember who it was, actually, but I believe it was Ellis, who ended up duking a few of those punches. Survivors continuing their onslaught here. They're going to be making their way through the bumper car area and out into the open area. Rocket Boomer is, not quite successful, and they're shooting through the wall. They might be able to kill this Boomer before they even have to deal with him. They know roughly where he is, but they can't quite get the shots right. Boomer ends up getting a boom regardless, and the Smoker is going to be moving on to Coach. Nice Boomer stumble is followed by the spit as well. That's a very good attack, actually. A bit more of that. And yeah, I mean, in-cap as well. Very, very well played by the South Americans there to get the in-cap there. Very nice Boomer, very nice interceptions, and a solid decision by the Smoker to go for the guy outside there. If they had a bit more of that level of special infected gameplay, we could be looking at a different game here.
Weapons over here.
Ellis has suffered the first in-cap of the Europeans here as they make their way towards the little sheds here, livestock sheds. Hunter lands onto Ellis, followed by a triple boom again. That's going to be a Jockey, dead stops and killed, and the Charger is just waiting for his time to shine here, really. Let's see what he can make happen. In he moves, gets a charge. Well, it was nearly a double charge, actually. That would have been pretty good if it was. Survivors just swiftly dealing with the common infected as they move further forward. They have these rooftops to traverse here, followed by a crescendo, so let's see how they fare in that situation. Spitter and a Boomer, with a Smoker and a Hunter. 5 damage pounds from the Hunter, followed by Spit. Some damage happening, that's going to be a very nicely shot down Boomer, actually, and as you saw there, that's the 1 second grace period I was talking about. That Boomer actually couldn't vomit for a solid 1 second after he spawned. That's something to keep in mind with Boomers. The moment you spawn, you have to wait a full second before you can vomit. Charger, Smoker, Jockey, and a Hunter. This is a quad cap. And let's just see how they pull it off here. They are going to be sending it in during a crescendo as well. Haven't chosen to send it in just yet, though. There is a Hunter pre-spawned, and that's just about it for now. Just gradually dealing with these common infected. They actually have 4 sets of pain pills, which is pretty ideal, honestly, for the survivors. Hunter is pouncing in. They are beginning to send the attack in. Smoker first, going to be landing. That's going to be the Jockey landing. Unfortunately, Hunter and Charger go for the same target, though. That is a very nice separation, Jockey, regardless. That's going to be several bits of damage onto him. Could even be an in-cap, actually, which will make him black and white. With the help of the common infected, they just about managed to get to him, though, which is good. Smoker is going to land onto Coach there. And, well, Frey is, aka Ellis, is going to get himself incapacitated here. And shortly after will be revived. He is black and white, but they have a set of pain pills to use on him. Spitter successfully delays the get-up. Boomer and a Hunter, followed by, in 1 second, a Charger. Boomer first, getting a boom onto 1 survivor. Hunter is behind the survivors on the high ground there. Looking like they want to wait a little bit. However, the Jockey and Hunter are positioned like they want to attack now. In 2 seconds, they do have the final spawn, though, so let's see what that ends up being. It is a Smoker, so they have another quad cap here. Let's see if this one is slightly more successful, though. Charger moves in first, but, I mean, he's before anybody goes in, though. Synchronicity isn't really quite there. Hunter is pouncing in for the survivors. Ends up landing, actually. That is a very, very temporary tri-cap. Still a tri-cap, but not really much of an effective one. I'm assuming that's a DC, unless he has actually left. I don't really know. Survivors do make it into the safe room here, securing themselves again a pretty comfortable health bonus, considering what happened in this round. 34 multiplied by 4. Putting themselves above 3,000 points, 3,124 specifically. And we are on to the second half of map number 4, or chapter number 4. However, no sign of Zeus. Not quite sure what's gone on there. I don't think the team actually knows where he's gone either, to be honest with you. Stanley Kubrick. I like that. Well, I suppose we're going to have to wait and see what update we get from LBB in this situation. Well, we have a little bit of downtime. So how's everybody doing? Feel free to let me know in the chat how you're all doing. Be more than happy to have a look. Since we have a little bit of downtime here, don't really know where Zeus has gone to. So, how is everybody's day going? Looking like we are waiting as well, actually. So, I'm doing splendid, thank you, Nofos. just enjoying myself playing, commentating along in Left 4 Dead 2, as I always enjoy doing. Can only really apologize on behalf of this, ladies and gentlemen. It does look like they are looking for either Zeus or somebody to substitute him. I'm not quite sure, but either way, we are going to have to wait and see what happens. Evelyn, Tajador, and Mr. Question Mark are in the game, followed by somebody called Kov. So let's just see if that is who they are looking for. They are asking. I'm assuming that is their sub. Assuming. By the way, the slots are 10 out of 11. I'm assuming since the other person has left, we probably want to limit that just in case. Although there's not much to go, but still. Yes, indeed. That is their sub. So, looking like we shall be going live on the final half of chapter number 4 on Dark Carnival. Just one person that we're waiting on per side. Going to be that infamous 2-2 as well that they'll be using. Boomer Spitter with the Smoker and Hunter as we now go live. Coach and Ellis looking to clear some common infected before they move outward. Boomer moves in first as they're inside the safe room. There is a double boom, and to be honest, they could actually be kept in there long enough for a tri-cap, which, as we were discussing before, is a valid tactic. Sending the boomer in order to sack it for Kappa. Survivors making their way outward. They have a Smoker Jockey Hunter tri-cap. Hunter looking to get a damage pounce. In he moves. Can't quite land it. Is going to be looking for a regular pounce, but is shot down very nicely, actually. Overall, a very efficient shutdown by the survivors. Going to be looking to make their way through the bumper car area here. Tank is going to spawn pretty soon as well. Boomer ends up getting popped actually before the survivors are outside, so that's a good result for them. Hunter moves in, nicely skeeted actually, that's a half and half skeet, and Charger is going to be meeting his demise after one scratch. Smoker behind gets a smoke onto Ellis. Tank is a little bit too far away to capitalize on it though. And Tank is going to be making his way towards the dumpsters. Which, honestly, they're quite hard to land. Let's just see if this one ends up landing actually. It doesn't end up landing. Going to be looking for some big hits on these hittables here. And he's getting some reasonable hits on them, to be honest. That dumpster is on top of the roof there, so that's going to be easy to get into play. In moves the other dumpster, which actually, honestly, looking like it was going to hit Ellis for a second there. However, Survivor's in very good health so far. Let's see if they can maintain it. Tank is now on the rooftop with his dumpster. Moving in that dumpster, he actually can't quite get Rochelle. He's looking to get Rochelle with it. Hunter is going to land onto Rochelle as well. Rock interception is skeeted. Hunter is still landing onto Rochelle, and the dumpster is going to be securing the incapacitation onto her. Tank is now moving on to Ellis and is going to be cornering him in the fenced off area here. Charger moves in, gets the double charge actually, a very nice double charge, and that's going to be a get up animation on Nick, who is right in front of the dumpster, missing the first punch on the dumpster. However, again, he doesn't miss the second punch, but going to be punching Nick, followed by the dumpster, which just barely misses Nick there. Missing a punch onto him, however, it's looking like Nick's life is pretty much over here. And he's going to have a rock in his face, followed by a punch, and that is going to be The GG called here. I'm assuming they're going to be GGing this because they're currently behind by 1,100 points, give or take. So